Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is the BFTAA and More Show. I am your host, Louis George Walker, coming to you from the KUAW studios located in Kansas City, Missouri, 4510 East Linwood Boulevard in the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center building. We're down here in the lower level, and we're having a great time today. The weather has turned a little bit cool on us. It's fall, and it's letting you know that winter is coming. But you know, it's still a good day. It's sunshiny and really nice outside. So we're listening, or you're listening to us right now on KUAW Radio, which is a product of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association and the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. They come together and form this radio station, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, known as KUAW. So you can pick us up. You can pick us up 24 hours a day online. We have an audio side that broadcasts music and this conversation that you're hearing right now that you can pick up on the TuneIn app, on Get Me Radio, on Online Radio Bot, on MyTuner, on Radio Garden. If you've got a Google Smart Speaker or Amazon speaker, just tell it to play KUAW, and we come across on that also. We're also on the Apple Fire and a couple other Fire Sticks, Roku, and those. So if you go to any of those radio sites or go to your Roku, and on the audio side, just search KUAW, and you can listen to us right there. Now, you can watch us when we do live shows on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Twitch. We're broadcasting right now. Matter of fact, I've got to bring up the Twitter link because it's always a little more difficult. But we're going to get it up when we take our first little bit of showing you some of the things that's going on at NASA. So that'll give us a chance to do a little break in to get Twitter going. But we'll have it up on Twitter also, or we will try, because some days Twitter just doesn't want to act right for us. So we have that happening. I'm kind of trying to play with it right now, see if I can get it ready to broadcast to you. So we're doing this live right before your very eyes. Let's see if we can bring this up. And we may be able to do it, maybe not. But let's see. We go to entertainment. We do our radio source. Hey, it looks like we're going to get it. Well, maybe not. Yeah, it's trying to come. Okay, I'm going to create the broadcast. So right now we are live. Yes, I can hear myself. So we're live on Twitter right now also, so you can pick this up. And we're kind of glad that we're able to get it and it's able to work, because some days we try to get that Twitter going and it just does not want to cooperate. So we're on KUAW- or underscore radio on the Twitterverse. So we're right there right now. So you can tell your friends, you can pick us up on a lot of those sites. We're also going to be working on getting up Instagram. We may cut some of these shows in bits and pieces so we can TikTok them. So we want to get to people so that they can get this information. All we like to do is try and close that digital divide that exists in the African American community, and that is part of the mission of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. So we want to see the African American community and all underserved communities be able to use and get the full benefit of the internet, of the digital age that is coming along, of learning the careers and how they can improve their standard of living. So we'll do that by having different events. We also have some classes that we hold here, and we communicate with other people. So if you want to know more about the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, go to our website. You can find us at www.bftaa.org. And if you have any questions or comments that you want to ask right now while the show is going on, you can text them on Facebook, and I'll see them. They'll actually come up on my screen. I have a link that makes it come up on the screen. Everybody else will see it also, but we'll see it. It won't put your name on there to keep you anonymous unless you put your name on there. And you can put your name to say who you are if you want to. But you can send questions, comments, whatever you want to on Facebook. Go to KUAW-radio. And this live broadcast should be going on right now. You can like and share it with your other friends and let them know about it. I'd like to say hello to my lovely wife, Mildred, to all the family, all of my church members, all of the people that help support this radio station and make it happen. It's not just an individual thing, but it's a whole community of people and that have donated money, equipment, time to make this radio station, and not just a radio station, but the Black Family Technology Awareness Association work. And they do this without pay. They actually pay to do the work, so that's kind of got it flipped around. But that's what we do here. And we want to work with all people in the community. One of the things, and I'll talk to you about that in a little bit, but as working with all the community, a lot is always said about working with the kids and getting them involved in technology and your job benefits. But we also are working now with seniors in technology. So we're going to tell you about that as we go through the day. I don't have any of the pictures right now, but we're going to bring that up with another class that we had started here a couple of weeks ago. You may have seen the advertisement. It's going on. We're doing some basic computer training. But before we go into that, one of the things we always like to do is bring you what's going on at NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, how they are working with their research and development, and the more that they're doing to make this world a better place and to explore the deeper reaches of space. I mean, we got new telescopes up there that can see back in time, basically. They're seeing things that have happened years and years and years ago. So that's always amazing to me, too. But that's another story we'll go into in a bit. But right now we're going to go to NASA, and we're going to do This Week in NASA, what's going on this week in NASA. So stay tuned, and here it comes.
The results of our DART planetary defense test, astronauts returned safely from the space station, and more new imagery from the Webb Space Telescope. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. Data from the intentional impact of our DART spacecraft with asteroid Dimorphos confirmed that
DART successfully changed the targeted asteroid's trajectory.
In fact, this first ever planetary defense test altered Dimorphos' orbit around a larger asteroid by 32 minutes, which far exceeded expectations. Learn more at nasa.gov/DART. NASA's SpaceX Crew 4 mission safely returned from the International Space Station after nearly 6 months of conducting research and technology demonstrations to prepare for human exploration beyond low Earth orbit and to benefit life on Earth. A new Webb Space Telescope image shows a series of dust rings from a pair of stars. The stars' orbits bring them together about once every 8 years. So, like the rings of a tree trunk, the dust loops mark the passage of time. The next launch attempt of our Artemis 1 moon mission is now targeted for November 14th. The uncrewed flight test of our Space Launch System rocket and Orion spacecraft will thoroughly test all systems before making Artemis flights with astronauts. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/TWA.
All right. That's what's going on at NASA this week. So there's a lot of things going on. I tell you, for them to hit that asteroid that is hundreds of thousands of miles away really was a feat of engineering, of calculations, of just a lot of good scientific engineering work to make that happen. You think about shooting something that is going to take you days or weeks to even get to the target and to hit it, let alone to move it, but they had a successful test. That's part of the Earth's planetary defense system that they're testing, that if there's an asteroid, which they say that's how the dinosaurs became extinct, is when an asteroid hit the Earth and lowered the temperature. It was clouds around the Earth, and the temperature dropped, the ice age, and wiped out a lot of the dinosaurs or animal life and plant life that was here in prehistoric times. So to keep that from happening so we don't get wiped out, they're trying to find defenses that if they see an asteroid that's headed towards Earth, that maybe they can shoot a rocket at it, shoot something at it, and deflect it so that it would miss the Earth. So that's something that I think is takes a lot of engineering. It's a lot of work. and a lot of science behind that. But that's great. That's what it's about. That's what we want to get our young people into, is working into those science fields so that they can work on items like that and develop and invent and create things that are going to help mankind, that's going to help with exploration, that can help us right here on Earth today. So those are things that, getting people involved in STEM. And STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. So as we look at those core factors, that's where a lot of our inventions, a lot of things that are going on are affected by STEM, mostly everything. When you talk about science, technology, engineering, and math, that goes for the medical advances. I mean, those were STEM workers that developed the COVID vaccine. The people that shot that rocket to hit the asteroid, those are STEM workers. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, all of that goes into innovation. And one thing we want to make sure of is that we're included in that innovation. So we fight for digital equity so that there is no digital divide in any community, that all communities should have access to high-speed internet, to coding classes, to learning about computers, to all of those things that you can use to help improve your life and help to improve the life here on Earth. So that's what that's about. That's what we're about. So I got another bit from NASA called Space to Ground. I want to bring that up to you right now so you can check it out. And here we go. There we are.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Kayla LaFrance. As one crew settles into their new orbital home, another prepares to say goodbye. Since their arrival on April 27th, the Crew 4 crew members, NASA astronaut Kjell Lindgren, Bob Hines, and Jessica Watkins, and European Space Agency astronaut Samantha Cristoforetti have been living and working aboard the station. As their stay aboard drew near, there was a change of command ceremony during which Cristoforetti handed over command of the station to crewmate Roscosmos cosmonaut Sergei Prokopyev.
I would like to hand you over officially the key of the space station. Thank you so much.
During their time on orbit, the members of Crew 4 contributed to hundreds of experiments and technology demonstrations. The astronauts contributed to deep space exploration studies, including testing aeroponic and hydroponic methods of growing edible crops in microgravity, and testing of a membrane that could improve water reclamation. Water has some of the highest mass of all the supplies needed for space travel. Effective recovery for potable water from wastewater is critical on long-term missions. They also conducted human health investigations that include a study of the aging of immune systems and an experiment looking at how a specialized diet could impact the immune system and gut microbiome. Their work will contribute to future exploration missions and benefit those of us back on our home planet. That's Space to Ground for this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
All right. Yes, that is Space to Ground. So that was a lot. That's what's going on at the space station. And the space station is fantastic, too. I mean, I get excited about all of that when I see it. It's really great that they're growing plants. And as if you notice, they're growing the plants in soil. They were growing them in water, the hydroponics. But then they said aeroponics, where they're growing them in just air, I would assume. That was a new one on me. So that's probably something that all of that, as you talk about going to places like Mars, which is relatively close as you compare to going into deep space, is how would you feed yourselves? How can you prepare food? How can you carry enough food? Because if you're going that far, you maybe can't take enough food with you. It'd take a huge rocket to carry everything. So maybe that you'd have to be able to create food while you're traveling. So that's the thing that you would look at, is that how can we grow crops, or some of the crops that it would help lighten the load, because we'll be producing some of it while we're going through space. How do you recover water? How do you get all of that stuff that you need, that if you're flying through space, I mean, you can't get it. So it's wonderful that they're working on all of that, and some of that is the things that you don't see in the day-to-day watching of space flights and people going to the moon. We try to show you something a little deeper in detail about what it takes for a long duration. They're talking about setting up a station on the moon where people will be there for long term, just like on the space station. So if it's possible, they would probably want that station on the moon to be able to grow some of their own food, be able to reclaim water or find water on the moon that they could use. But those are all the things that have to be checked out, experimented on, try to find out as you go up there so that it looks like they just thought of this right now, but it's all years of work and research that goes into making sure that these things come out correctly. So, hey, we're glad to bring you that, and we bring that every week from NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. You can also go to their site to get some insight on things you can do with your kids or that you can learn. NASA has a real extensive website that has some educational things on it, has some experiments on it, different things that you can do with yourself or that you can do with your children to help broaden your perspective. So that's something that you might want to look into and try and do and work with. So as we continue, now we want to get back down to earth a little bit. We've got an election coming up. The midterm elections will be happening, I think, in 2 weeks, November. I think it's the first Tuesday in November. So that would be, let me see if I can find that. That would be November the 2nd. That may be the election day. Don't hold me to that. But that is the first Tuesday in November. So, and they say that the election is a couple of weeks away. So that would be about right. November the 1st. Oh, wow. Is that close? That's too close. Maybe it's the second week in November. Well, I have to pull it up. If somebody knows that, type it in on Facebook right now and let me know when Missouri's election is going to be. Election 2023, or 22, excuse me. I'm really getting it all mixed up here. Let's see if they've got it in here. I had some things up on the web. You have people that are running for office, and that's, you know, as usual. But there's a couple of ballot issues that are interesting. November the 8th. Okay, the election's the second Tuesday in November. So it's going to be November the 8th is the election. If you haven't registered to vote in Missouri, it's too late now. You can't vote in this election. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't go ahead and register, because there's going to be other elections coming up. So if you're living somewhere where you think you're going to still be living there for the next couple of years, because if you move, you have to re-register. They need a current address for you. But if you're living in a house, if you know you're going to be there for the next 2 or 3 years when the general election comes up, you can go ahead and register now. You can register at any time other than past the deadline for the 2024 election. That's when we'll be doing the presidential election. This is a midterm, so there's senators and congressmen and governors that are running for office this year. But in 2024, there'll be senators, congressmen, and the president that will be elected. So that's going to be real important. And some people wait until it's getting on election time. Oh, I got to go get registered to vote. Well, go register now. Yeah, you can't vote on the 8th, but you'll be able to, if you haven't moved, if you stay in the same place for the next couple of years, then on 2024, you're already registered. So don't put it off. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't procrastinate. Go ahead and register and get in line so that you'll be able to vote, because that waiting until the last minute is not a good thing to do. Now, if you haven't turned 18 and you'll turn 18 in between that time, then you can register to vote when you turn 18. But that's what you want to do when you turn 18. Make sure you get registered to vote. That is something that people really worked hard to get the age down to 18. That happened in my time before I turned 21. I was able to vote because they lowered the age. So that was something that was being fought for in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, because they felt if you could get drafted to go to the Vietnam War, why come you couldn't vote for the people that would send you to the war? and they finally got the law changed that 18-year-olds could register to vote, which was great, because that is something that if you're old enough to go fight and to kill and to defend your country, then you should be old enough to vote for your country. That to me was a no-brainer, but before it had been 21, but they did change it. But I digress. As we go, what's on the list this time is the recreational marijuana use. So I don't know where you stand on it. Some people are for it, some are against it, but it's going to be on the ballot. So if you're interested in that, you might want to pay attention to it. But recreational marijuana use, they have already voted for medical marijuana, but they're looking to change the law into so that you can have recreational marijuana, so people can have marijuana. And with that, they want to also pardon or parole or expunge certain people's records that have marijuana cases on them. Now, it probably depends upon what you were doing. If it's just a simple possession, is one thing, but if you were in a RICO caught up thing of selling marijuana on a large scale, that may be a whole different ball game. But if you've got a small drug charge, that would be something that they could take off. If it was just a simple possession, I would assume that. And I haven't read the whole thing, but that's one thing that you want to look into, is that they're wanting to change the marijuana law. I also heard there's a bond issue on for Kansas City. And part of that bond issue, and you need to read these when you go to the polls, but they have a bond issue for allocating some money to provide shelter for the homeless, to get low-income housing or a place to stay for people. They want $50 million allocated for that. Now, they didn't say if that was, and I haven't read if that was $50 million yearly for that, if that's a one-time $50 million to build or get things started, but that's something I'll research in so that I can get back with you. But if you can, oh, okay, I see that we've got some other things on here too. Let's see, there's a person coming up on the vote says, can I add that if you are registered to vote, please make plans to vote. Our voting percentages have been abysmal, even among registered voters. Okay, so I agree with that too. Some people get excited about registering to vote. They fill out the papers, whether they're at the church or wherever. But then when it comes time to vote, we don't go vote. We don't show up. If you're registered to vote, you don't even have to wait until voting day. If you say, I'm going to be busy and stuff, check with the election office. You can go do advanced voting. If you say, I'm going to be out of town, but you don't even have to have an excuse. If you just want to go vote the week before, you don't want to go stand in those long lines and be outside in the cold or anything like that. As soon as they open up early voting, go vote. Go down to wherever the location will be. It may be at the I think at the Union Station is where the Kansas City Election Board is. You can go down there and vote weeks before the election. You can get your vote already in there. So those are things that we have to look at because, yeah, as it said, we register to vote, we get excited, but then as the election day comes, we're busy, we're tied up, we're tired. I forgot, with all this stuff going on in the news, some people say, well, I forgot to vote. How can you forget to vote when you see all these people lining up and all the stuff that's on news and television? But some people do live in the Twitterverse or on TikTok, and they may not see the things about elections. As older people figure, well, you've seen it on the news or on television, but you do have to realize there is a generation that's not wrapped up in watching television every day. That they may be online, they're doing other things on streaming and stuff, so that local elections and things like that don't even come up. So pass this on to your friends, pass this on to your kids, your loved ones, anybody you come in contact with. There's going to be an election November the 8th, and we all should go down to vote if you're registered. If you're registered to vote, you should go down and vote. Also, if you're not registered, Don't forget, if you can register at any time. You just can't vote in this election that's going to happen November the 8th. That deadline is already passed. But if you register today, you can vote in any election after the November election. There'll be some elections that'll be happening, or some voting opportunities in April. A lot of times there's bond issues, tax issues that come along in April, and then in November. And then they may have a special election that comes up if something happens. We need to pay attention to those things and look at the bond issues. Those are real important. Sometimes it doesn't cost you anything, but sometimes it can cost you something. Part of the bond issue I heard today is that the mayor wants to do some improvements to expand Bartle Hall. So I don't know if you're for it or if you're against it, but that's something that's going to be on the bond issue. And people say, well, they got all this money, or what did they do with the money? That's where it goes. And the money isn't made out of thin air. If they say it's a bond, it doesn't cost you anything. It's coming out of the general fund. It's coming from somewhere. It's some money that they're spending on a specific thing. So sometimes that means something else is getting cut out. You look at school closings, you look at budget issues with the police department or with the hospitals, especially our city hospitals, are the ones that help get funding from the city. All of that comes from your tax dollars, from your licensing fees, from different things that you give to. So when you talk about bonds, that's helping to direct money towards things that you may feel you need, or to not direct it to something you think is wasteful. So we got to study up. We need to know what's going on and make informed voting, because voting is not something that you do and just guess or pick a number or pick a issue. If I don't know something about an issue when I go up there and read, if I haven't checked it out and stuff, I just won't vote, because I'm not going to vote yes on something that I don't understand and find out I should have voted no. So if I don't really know it, I'm going to leave it blank. Because I want my vote to be informed when I put it down there. And I've been in the booth sometimes and say, I don't know what they're talking about with this, and didn't hear of it. And it's there, although you can get ballots in advance. So we want to make ourselves educated voters, and we'll be talking about that. It's coming pretty soon. So I'll be bringing some more information to you on voting. One of the things is I don't want to tell you how to vote on anything. It's supposed to be your vote. I can tell you the issues that are out there. You know the candidates if you've seen a lot of them and stuff, and you have to decide which one you think serves your interest the best. So I'm not going with any political party or anything like that here. This is just to give you information, just so that you know. And if you hear it and you know something about it, then you can go out and make an informed vote. But that's coming up, so pay attention. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing that real soon. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about was we've got a class that we started here, and a lady named Rosalind Sykes is working it. But we always hear about the youth and that we want to take coding and we want to get the robotics team going and drones and stuff. But at the same time, we want the whole community to be involved in technology. So we're offering a class here at the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center on Saturday and Thursdays. It's going to be going on for just a few more weeks now, but it's for seniors to learn basic computers. Let's see, what time is that? Saturday from 10 until 10:30 to 12, and on Thursday from 1 to 2:30. Those classes are for seniors to come and learn basic computing. So we're going to have that, and hopefully if you need it, or if you know someone that might want to learn how to do emails, how to attach emails and things. I know some of us will say, well, everybody knows how to do that. Well, no, everybody doesn't know how to do it. So we've got a class for seniors. So if you have a mother, grandmother, a parent, a guardian, or someone that's really just not up on it, but they want to be, then they can come to the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center on Saturday morning, 10:30 to 12, or on Thursday from 1 to 2:30, and get in this class and learn basic computing. This is on a short-term beta trial right now, so it's going to end before Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving. I think their time will be up. But we're looking at if we have the interest of maybe doing a class like that a couple of times a year, 2 or 3 times a year. It won't be ongoing all the time, but we may do a class on basic computing in the fall and do one in the spring so that, you know, people can take advantage of it. Also, we want to make sure that everybody is taking advantage of the internet. There is the Connected American Connection Program, or whatever they call it, from the government. Biden had announced that they want to get people connected to the internet, to broadband, and there's a program for, if you qualify, you can get your internet for practically for free, in some cases for free, and you can always get some discounted internet. So we want to tell people about that and bring people up on that, because there's some grandparents and stuff that aren't connected, that if they're low income, if they've been veterans, if they fit certain qualifications, they can get the internet and they can get it in the house, and anybody else in the house can use it. So you know how we do with that and stuff. So if grandpa can get it, then you can get it in the house. It can be free, and everybody can have access to the internet. That's the thing that we need to still work on. We started this organization with closing the digital divide and getting broadband access to the home, that everyone should have broadband access in the home. And still today, that was back in 2004 when we were making that issue. And this is 2020, and everybody doesn't have broadband internet in their house. In the rural areas, it's low adoption because it's just not there. In the urban areas, a lot of times it can be an economic hardship, or people can't see the benefit of the internet. So whatever the reason is, we need to stop and think about it, that you may want to get connected. Now, I know some people want to live off the grid and you don't want to have a social security number, lights, and all of that. That's cool. You know, everybody to their own. But for those of us that are on the grid, that do want to stay connected, then we need to help everybody get there. You shouldn't want to get there and have no way to get there. So there's things that you can talk to the Black Family Technology Awareness Association and other groups about getting computers. You can get low cost to free computers in your house. You can get internet. Some companies are offering like $10 a month to qualified families, $12 a month. And with the ACP plan, where I think the government's paying up to $30 or so a month, you could get some of that internet for basically free. Wouldn't cost you a dime. Those are some things that you need to be looking at and telling your friends about it. Go to church, talk to your church members about it, your groups, because sometimes because you got it, you think everybody's got it. But if you bring that up at one of the church meetings, you might find out that there's some few brothers or sisters there or mothers of the church that don't have internet. They haven't said anything to anybody, but they don't have it. And we learned from the pandemic that having the internet at home was a pretty good thing. A lot of us were able to continue to attend church services and meetings. As so many more people know about Zoom and Microsoft Teams and all kind of other ways to log into meetings now, that you had to get forced into that knowledge by the pandemic. But we shouldn't drop it now. We should spread it to other people, let them know that they should have it. If they don't have it, where can you get the information to learn how to use it? Because Zoom and some of that can seem complicated to some people. So that's why we have the classes in basic computing for seniors. So if you know somebody, have them get in touch with us. They can give us a call at 816-599-6893. That's 816-599-6893. And leave a message. We can get you involved in that basic computer class for seniors. Now, for you young people, one of the things we had, and I didn't get wanted to get some of these pictures up to show you about our robotics program, because we're back on the road. We're putting it together, and we're looking to do more. So this is one of the things that we want to bring to you. Let's see if we can get you a couple of pictures to show you what's happening in our robotics program. And I'm not going to show, I'm going to put them on slideshow basically because I don't have time to go through them one by one. But I will bring up a few of them so you can see what our young people are doing with technology. And we still have room for more. So let's see, I think that's probably enough. Right there, let's go here. And yeah. Okay, oh, that picture's too big, way too big. Let's see if we get it into a decent size so you can see them. Man, I tell you, yeah, they're huge, giant people. There we go, there we go. Wait a minute. Now you're seeing it. This is our computer class, our robotics class that we started Saturday. Well, we didn't start Saturday. They had class meet. They've been going for about 2 weeks now, 3. The Lego group, which you're looking at now, they've been working on Legos. We've had some kids that didn't show up this week, but we've got about 5 or 6 kids working in the Lego group. But we want to take that number up to 10 if we possibly can. So if you know some young people between 9 and 12 years old, they can get involved in the Legos. These kids are starting to make the things for their competition. They're in the Lego League. So they're building a couple of the missions that they're going to work on right here. And next week, they're going to start on building their robot. Now, what you see there now are our older kids, our middle and high school students that are working on the VEX robot. So they were doing a thinking session of trying to figure out exactly how they want to build their robot. Their robot this year has to be able to throw a Frisbee. There are instructors. This is the coaches for our VEX and Lego team. We have a great group of instructors that are working with the young people every Saturday. So we'd like to have some more kids in there. So if you've got a child or if you know a child that likes technology, wants to get involved in robotics, would like to be part of a team that's going to be going to competition, the Lego kids have signed up for a competition that's going to happen December the 17th. So if you want to get them in there now, they can start working on their robot so that they can have something built for this competition that's going to be coming up December the 17th. Want you to stay tuned, and when we go out there to the competition, we'd like to have people come out and support, come out and see what our kids are doing, look at their work, and cheer them on. So we're going to be letting you know about it because these 2 young men were looking at some instructions. They were working, and they put this thing together themselves, this one mission, and they'll have that on a board, and then their robot's going to have to perform some operations on each one of the missions that's out there. And as we showed you then, our high schoolers, they've really got a tough year. They've got to build a robot there. They're looking at wheels and making a chassis that's going to hold it. But their robot actually this year is going to have to throw a Frisbee at a target. So they've got to build a robot that can throw a Frisbee. That's going to be interesting. I'm waiting to see what they come up with and how they solve that problem. But it's going to have to throw a Frisbee at a target, and it's going to have to throw a bunch of them, not just one. It's got to do it much because there's going to be points assigned to each time you make it in the target. If you miss the target and it lands on the floor inside the other team's zone, they get the point. So it's not just that you can throw the Frisbee, but you got to aim the Frisbee and throw it right because you either get points or you give the other team points. So that's going to be a fun competition. We haven't got the date for one of the competitions that's going to be happening around here. We're trying to decide if we're going to host a competition, the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, because we're just getting back. We've held a competition in the past before COVID, all the way up to 2019 out at the Southeast Community Center. So we've got to see if we can really get that together to have a competition again this year, which it's a lot of work to get that together. We usually do those in February. But we want you to support the kids that are working in these programs. If you know any young people that you want to get involved in robotics, ask them, bring them around. They can find out what the robotics program is about, and if they want to get involved with it, we'll be glad to have them. So we're ready for more students and to have more fun with the young people. So that's kind of what I wanted to bring to you. There's some other things that are going to be happening through the year and some things that I want to bring to you in the next couple of weeks. But stay tuned to KUAW Radio. Stay tuned to what we do, some of the information that we bring you, and some of the things going on in the city, especially in the form of technology, because there are a lot of technology groups that are working with our young people, and they all need your support. There was Culturally STEM that was meeting here last Saturday also. Miss Ina Montgomery has a group of young people, and they're, I don't know what her age is. It looked like they were like kindergarten. I think she says kindergarten through 6th grade, so they got a wide range of students. And they're here for 3 hours on a Saturday, and they were doing STEM and getting some reading assessments and learning a little bit of African-American inventors or black inventors, not just African-American. But they had a whole program set up in a 3-hour period, and it was really great. They're going to be doing that for the next 10 weeks, she said. So that's something that you could contact Miss Ina Montgomery. I think, I forget the name, Urban Tech. Urban Tech is the name. So if you go on Facebook or something, look for Urban Tech, and you can maybe ask her some questions, see about getting involved in that. We also have Miss Tammy Buckner with We Code KC. They're doing great work with the young people. Mr. William Wells with the STEAM Village. He's doing great work in the 3rd District, not only with just the young people, but for the whole community down there. So those are things that are going on, but we need to support our young people throughout the city. So be sure and vote, register to vote. Be sure and support some of the STEM programs that are going on in the community. We need to encourage our young people that this is important, that the community loves to see them doing it, because if they get that type of support and encouragement from different people in the community, then they feel what they're doing is really important, really valuable. So you don't want them to think that they're just doing something that's, I don't know, not too many people into it. No, we need you to stop by and just watch our kids work one Saturday. We work with them on Saturday from 12:30 to 2:30, and I invite you to stop by the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center and come up and just look at the kids, say hello to them. You want to see what they were doing, what they're working on. Have them explain to you what they're doing. But we want to encourage them, and we want the community to encourage the young people. So stop by one Saturday. Give me a call, 816-805-0406. Let me know that you're coming by, and we'll be, tell you how to get in the building, because we try to be a little secure around here with people's youngsters in here. But we can get you in the building, and we want this to be something that's accessible to the entire community, to not only for the young people, but for the adults to see what's going on. If you're the member of a fraternity, a sorority, a social club, a group, and you want to make a trip down here one Saturday to see what's happening with our robotics program, with the STEM programs that are going on in the building, with the tutoring that's happening in the building, give us a call. Let's, hey, Deltas and Goodfellas and whoever, come down, find out what's going on. You may want to become a part of it. You may want to help out, but you may want to hang around a little bit. And I think that everybody supporting it will help other young people and other people in the community get involved with this, because we've got to show that we value technology and we value our kids learning in technology. And that'll be a good day or a good thing that's beneficial to everybody. Also, if you're a senior, don't forget, we're going to be doing seniors computer classes that are going on right now on Saturday from 10:30 to 12, and then on Thursday from 1 to 2:30. So, hey, if you don't have anything else to do, give us a holler. See about getting in that class and learning some basics of computing. All right, that's my show for today. This is the BFTAA and More show. And coming on the day, I think I've got to check and see. B. Michael should be in with the 6 o'clock with the Shifting Paradigm show. So thank you for coming. Hope you continue to watch. Remember KUAW.org, and you can pick up all of the information that's going on, and then you can watch us on Facebook at KUAW-radio. So, hey, check us out. Tell us if you like the show, if you don't like the show, or whatever it is about it and stuff. We'll be glad to hear from you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week on the BFTAA and More show. That's all.